Hi, welcome back to my channel. It is Tuesday, September 3rd, and I would like to report that the Hells Angels have not shown up to the area of Aurora where they were going to come down and take down this Venezuelan gang. It's my understanding the new news is that there are Venezuelan gangs that have taken over Chicago based on some dispatch call that was made. Hear it yourself.
Unit 10-3, I'm citywide, person with a gun, 6124 South King Drive. Caller says 32 Venezuelans are trespassing the building, showing guns in the courtyard, and they have motorcycles in the courtyard as well. All stairwells are filled. Nothing further is unclear.
Okay, well, I'm not in Chicago, so I can't really speak to what's going on in Chicago. Who knows? Maybe the Hells Angels decided to basically detour away and go to Chicago instead to go take over whatever's going on over there, right? Because I mean, that's what they said they were going to do. But again, that continues to be an unfounded rumor that we have yet to see anybody show any receipts for, and yet you guys are still capping and caping in the comments about this. Perfect example. Somebody said in my comments, research again our chapters left day before yesterday. They should be rolling into Aurora any time now. You need to use your ears and eyes. Know some of them to have any idea what's going on. They don't do public announcements. Well, like I said, it's been a couple days now, and I have yet to see a Hell's Angels. I have yet to see something. I have seen, though, news sources try to clarify to everybody that, they're looking into these social media posts about the Hell's Angels coming over. Because, like, why would you want? We have a problem with one gang. Matter of fact, we have a problem with multiple gangs. But this one specific one, we have a problem with, right? Why would you want to bring another situation that is going to potentially bring more problems, more violence? It doesn't make sense. So Aurora Police said our intelligence unit has been looking into social media posts from this weekend, and we do not believe the posts to be credible. We're continuing to monitor the situation. They're not credible. This started on TikTok and it trickled down to Twitter and it's gone over to YouTube. That's what had happened. Okay. None of this is credible. Now, Tyler Olivier, who did a pretty good video, I would say, yesterday. I was very impressed with him being able to go to Aurora. Aurora is about 20 minutes away from me, so I'm glad that he was able to go down there and get some interviews. And you're basically able to see a situation that I think is fairly accurate. You have residents there that are not wanting to give any kind of exclusives to media because guess what? Like, they don't want this kind of attention in the community, all right? Even though law enforcement will promise, well, we're not deporting you, it's a sanctuary city, it's this and that, people are still scared. And I don't blame them. Honestly, I don't blame them for feeling this type of way. However, I will say is that they have a problem and they can't really seem to advocate for themselves because, I mean, this is what's going on. Now, all the attention is in this area, specifically in these apartment complexes. But here's my question, and I'm going to ask this to the chat. If we didn't have this upcoming election thing going on where we're picking at every little issue that's happening, if we didn't have the situation going on right now, would we even be paying attention? Because Denver, Aurora, Colorado cannot be the only state that's going through these issues. Okay. Chicago's going through this issue. LA, hit the like button. LA's going through this. You have different areas, states, Tennessee, Louisiana. Like, you just have to go out and understand that this issue of gangs taking over territory, this issue of gangs intimidating immigrants in communities is a huge issue. This does happen. Gangs committing crimes, this does happen, right? This is not the only area that this is happening to. So I do kind of side eye y'all because I want to make sure you guys keep the same energy. If you're watching this video, keep the same energy 6 months later after the election and everything's calmed down. All right. All these promises that these folks make on people. I promise we'll change this. We're going to do this. It's going to be this. Plan that. These are the same people that year after year, election after election, sell us a dream and we get bullshit, right? Tell me I'm lying in the chat. Anyways, so Tyler did this interview with a ICE field director and a Republican congressional candidate of Colorado. All right, and the interview was very well done. I think that Mr. John Fabricator, really answered the questions. Y'all watch a snippet of it, but I'm going to link Tyler's video in the description box so you guys can watch it in its entirety.
Then I hopped on a call with Aurora resident and retired ICE field office director to hear his opinion on what's really going on here.
Is the place on
And by the way, he's been very vocal on social media, which I'm going to bring some of those posts as well.
fire? Do we have Venezuelans invading the city?
Look, the city is not on fire. Aurora is a huge place.
Aurora is a very huge place, you guys. It's very huge city. Okay.
It's a great place to be, great schools, but there are issues, just like there are with any city anywhere in the United States. And what we're seeing now is just, you got one side saying it's not happening, one side saying it's happening, and then you get the social media aspects who say that the Hells Angels are coming into town, that patriots are going to be, storming these apartments. The state of Colorado is a sanctuary state. Started really letting in a lot of, migrants that are coming up from the border. When we look at this, it's mostly young male Venezuelans that have come up from Venezuela who are not highly vetted at the border. There are probably plenty of Venezuelans that have come up here to Colorado that are busting their butts, but there is this criminal element that has made their way into some of this, lower income housing. So they are extorting some of the residents in those areas. And to give you an idea, a lot of the residents in these areas are migrants. They're
migrants. Okay. So they're extorting, they're taking advantage of the situation. I mean, that does need to be controlled. That does need to be looked into. But the thing about Colorado and from what I've known from the time that I've been here and the many years and everything is that gangs is not foreign. There have been multiple task force built to address the gang issue. Okay. And whether it's this gang or another gang, this has been an ongoing thing.
They are migrants from South America. And these gang members there were gang members there running around with firearms, and they're mostly taking advantage of other migrants because those migrants are not calling the police. They are afraid to.
Yes.
They're afraid to maybe lose status here in the US or get the.
And that is a good point. So this brings me back to when the officer was interviewing, and basically coming back and saying, this area has not been taken over. This area has not been taken over.
We've been talking to the residents here and learning from them to find out what exactly is going on, and there's definitely a different picture. I'm not saying that there's not gang members that don't live in this community, but what we're learning out here is that gang members have not taken over this complex.
Well, the residents are going to tell you what's going on if they're being extorted or if they're being taken advantage of, and you're wearing a uniform. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm first generation. I know what this is like. Okay. I know what it's like to be scared about whether you're going to see your parents or whether something's going to happen or people are going to get deported. And then you got this officer, but you really need some 911 help, but you can't get it. Or you really need some, food stamps, but you can't get it because, this is going on. You don't want these people in your life. And I don't blame them. So I could definitely see where the officers are not being told the truth and they're out there knocking at doors. Of course, I'm going to be scared. Of course, I'm not going to be honest. I'm not going to tell the truth. Are you kidding me? And risk getting deported and risk getting on some list, some census, some radar? Yeah, I'm going to be very worried. And I'm just being honest with you guys because that's the reality of the situation. Okay, this is an issue of there being a lack of community policing. You don't just get to show up when you know that the news sources are out there and things are happening. No, there needs to be a consistent presence of community policing happening, especially in an area where you know that there's a lot of gang violence or a lot of guns or whatever's being reported based on your dispatch reports. This is an issue of community policing, and the more presence you have out there, the more that those that are breaking the law, in my opinion, are going to understand, like, we probably need to stay away from this area. We probably shouldn't be extorting these people. We probably need to do something different, or we probably need to get a job or something. You know what I'm saying? To deter this, as well as there being a need for more community programming for the youth that are there, because I feel like that's what the issue is at hand. There's a lot of lack of this. You don't get to show up to go respond to all these issues after everything that has happened, when this has been a thing that's been progressing months and months, if not years at this point.
Deported, or they've been identified, some of them, as being Tren de Aragua. And it may be some of these young Venezuelan males claiming to be TDA.
Thank you. He said it, claiming to be TDA. How do we know that the people that are showing the guns and they're walking around with those guns, how do we know that they weren't born here? And that their parents maybe are Venezuelan or from some other country? That could very well be the case. And they got mixed up with the wrong crowd. And I mean, do we know for a fact that they're illegal? That's my issue with the way this has been reported. Do we know that if they're illegal? Yes, that's a community that exists there. All right. But we're also not asking the questions. Like, let's ask them some questions before we assume that they're illegal. They could very well be first generation. And they're breaking the law, and they should be in trouble. And if they are breaking the law and they're illegally here, then they should be deported, because that's not okay. That's just my opinion.
Just as an intimidation factor to the other migrants that are in the area. The fake news part right away is that Aurora's not fallen off the face of the earth. Like, Aurora's had a gang problem. It's always been like that.
It's always been like that. Aurora, Denver, Colorado Springs, all these places have had a huge gang problem. Multiple gangs, all kinds of gangs. All right. So when I heard the fake news, for those over here, for this guy over here talking about, well, we're going over there, they left yesterday, 3 days later, and they haven't arrived. Maybe they detoured. Maybe they got lost. I don't know. The Hells Angels, whatever. You should be ashamed of yourself. Really, you should, because you're pushing this narrative. I kind of wonder, and I have to side eye, are you being paid to do this shit? Like, if you're going to report something, report it how it is. Yes, they have a problem with gangs. Yes, there's illegal immigrants. Absolutely. Yes, people are breaking the law. Yes, it needs to look into. It needs to be looked into. But I promise you that Denver, Aurora, Colorado is not the only place. But my question is this: why? Why is the focus here? Why is the focus right now? Why? Because there's a political agenda behind this. That's why. And to me, is nobody that's talking about this really gives a shit about Colorado. All right? They don't. 6 months from now, you're going to move on from this topic and you're going to be talking about something else. Right? Isn't that how it is? 6 months, after the election is done, you guys are going to be talking about something else, not being focused on this. So I definitely recommend you guys watch Tyler's video. This is just giving commentary to that. But let's go to some of these bookmarks that are very interesting, because somebody said in my comments, Rabbit, they're Venezuelans because of their tattoos. In that viral video, I didn't see one person tatted whatsoever. I didn't see one person tatted. All right. I mean, I could be blind. This is Tyler's video. Let me mute it real quick. But he's got that whole thing right there. Y'all see somebody there? Here's the video on X. Okay, y'all tell me what tattoos do you guys see on these individuals? Y'all see that? I mean, I see somebody wearing hoodies. Look at this guy right here. He's got a short sleeve shirt. I don't see no tats. Yo, let's see. Maybe the guy with the shorts has a tattoo. I don't know. But see, like, y'all see any tats? Maybe this guy, he's got wearing shorts too. Not one tattoo do I see. They got tats, Rabbit. They're tattooed. Really? Okay, cool. Show me where they were tattooed. Maybe I missed the tattoos. I am going blind. I don't see one tattoo. Let's get into the people that run this situation. By the way, this is Kyle Clark. This man's been a journalist in Colorado for many, many years. He does pretty good work, but he got to talk to Mike Kaufman, the mayor of Aurora, and the mayor of Denver, both talking to them.
Mayor Johnson, what are Denver police telling you about the scope of the threat posed by this one criminal organization, TDA, versus all of the criminal organizations operating in the metro area?
It's very small, the threat from TDA in Denver. It's smaller than many other organized criminal networks that might have been here for decades, the ones like the Bloods or the Crips or others. And so we're monitoring it closely. We're going to make sure they don't get a foothold. Where we know we can intervene, we can. But Mayor Kaufman's really right. The risk on this is the folks most likely to be taken advantage of and abused by this are other newcomers, are Venezuelans who have arrived and are being bullied by these individuals and feel afraid to call the police or call the city. We want to make very clear, if you have the least bit of concern, call 311, call 911. We do not ask for your citizenship or your status. You're at no risk of adverse action.
We want to work.
Even though they're saying this, I promise you, it's not enough. It's not enough, you guys. Even though both of these mayors are saying what they're saying, it is not enough to say that, you know, we're not asking for your status. It's not enough. You're not speaking the language. You're not understanding the issues. You're not understanding what they're worried about. It's not enough. So people hide under the shadows. That's what they do.
Confidence to step forward and identify who the bad actors are.
So I think both sides are in for a new awakening. The folks that came here looking for the American dream will find it. Those folks who came here looking to cause chaos, I think will find that this is their worst nightmare, because we're not going to tolerate that in this.
What people don't understand, and we have to understand this as well, even though this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to make it, is if you are in this country, right, and you're being extorted and you're being you know, money's being taken away from you, or you know, you have these gangs that are threatening you, your safety, your children, your livelihood, your dwelling, that is a crime, right? That is a crime against an individual, and that should be prosecuted as well, and that therefore makes this group of people victims of a crime as well, right? Doesn't that make you a victim of that? If you're just sitting here, you know, you're a migrant working, paying your bills, and suddenly you got these individuals that are busting in your apartment that has been rented to you by this apartment manager, you're essentially, a crime is being committed on you because you're being extorted, because something is happening here. So we definitely need to call this out. Now, this is the update that we have thus far. Okay, let's watch this. Y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments. Sounds like the neighbors are going to be speaking out.
Today, people who live inside these troubled Aurora apartments are going to speak out. In a statement they sent last night, they say the narrative, as they called it, that gangs are taking over their apartment complex are false.
Yeah, so this comes after videos showed armed men walking through one of the complexes. You probably saw it online. Well, now Aurora police are trying to dispel another rumor. Fox 31's Courtney Fromm, she's on it live this morning. So yeah, Courtney, with all of this, there's a lot of information, a lot of rumors kind of swirling around. So it's kind of hard to decipher what's true and what's not.
Yes. Good morning to you both. There's just a lot of layers to this entire situation that's been going on. A lot of people pointing the finger in different directions on what exactly is happening. But we do know, I'm going to talk about that meeting that's happening later today with those neighbors first. They say they were moved out of the apartment complex. The management company says because of the crime due to those Venezuelan gangs. But the city actually says they closed those apartment complexes because of code violations. And that's what the neighbors say they want to bring up. They say it's because of all the issues the management company did not take care of when it comes to code violations specifically, not the gang violence that the management company has said. So that's the first part of it. Now, the second part of it is these new rumors that have been swirling around on social media about the potential of Hells Angels motorcycle club coming to Colorado to kind of push back against the Venezuelan gang situation that they say has been happening and has been going on. Now, we understand members of Hells Angels, they have been involved in previous deadly shootings in Colorado in the past. And some of that social media posts say they're responding to claims of those apartment complexes that are being taken over by Venezuelan gangs. But Aurora Police Department, their interim chief, Heather Morris, saying in part, quote, "Our intelligence unit has been looking into social media posts from this weekend, and we do not believe these posts are credible. We are continuing to monitor the situation."
Well, like I said, it's Tuesday, y'all, and they haven't shown up. So I would say they're probably not credible, and they haven't been credible. And whoever did that online, which was a specific group of, I think it was like 5 or 6 of them that were saying, we heard a rumor that the Hells Angels are on their way, and you guys know how Hells Angels are. You don't want to mess with them. They never get prosecuted. And we find out that they do.
So yeah, a lot of different layers to this story. But again, that meeting, to circle back with those neighbors, it is today at 4 o'clock, and I imagine we'll have a crew there. And of course, we'll keep you updated when more information on that becomes available. But for now, live, Aurora, Courtney from Fox 31.
And then somebody else tagged me, by the way, on Twitter. Shout out to the person that tagged me on Twitter that said, well, everyone, from what I saw, there is a problem in Aurora for sure. Overcrowding apartments for sure, but are people running around everywhere armed? No, not yet at least. And as far as the Hells Angels coming, I didn't see any evidence of that. Not one biker in Aurora in any of the areas mentioned on the news that I saw. And I was there all day. All in all, in my opinion, there is a problem yet, but is being overhyped? Most likely. Video coming in a couple days. Whoever this person is, I got tagged. Thank you so much for tagging me on this tweet. The most interesting part of this is that the people that put that out there are not going to correct themselves. They're not going to go on the internet and say, I'm sorry, guys. I was just reporting on a rumor and it, trickled down to a lot of views, a lot of clicks, a lot of things. Okay. Does Colorado have a problem with gangs? Yes. Denver? Yes. Aurora? Yes. There's always been a problem with gangs. Always. I'm going to ask the question that I've asked earlier in this video. 6 months from now, are you guys going to still have the same fire about what's going on in this state? You're going to keep it there? Because like I said, this is just a political situation. Seems to me that that's when everybody's wanting to care, when they're going to get reelected. They want to push something. I honestly, it's hurtful because the citizens that live in those areas are the ones that are impacted by promises of X, Y, and Z. And I'm tired of it. I really am. So don't let these people play on your outrage, because I certainly won't. We will keep reporting on this. Of course, if there's something new I can bring. I'm thinking about driving down there. It's only 20 minutes. It's only about 20 minutes away from me. I'm thinking about driving down there and taking a little field trip so I can show you guys maybe live. I don't know. Maybe talk to some folks there. Y'all let me know your thoughts. I'll see you guys on the next one. Rabbits out. Bye, guys.